and then the first 2 in November.
Yeah, but that's hunting.
Yeah, I'm not hunting at 9 p.m.
All right. Well, we'll talk about it off camera. All right. Welcome back to another Field of Food Table Talk podcast. We're going to jump right into part of a conversation that these guys were having off camera, and this was something that you, DJ, were talking about getting permission on a piece of property that just so happens to be possibly good.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
All right, so quick backstory, and we're going to keep names and locations out of this, and the dilemma that comes with this is kind of the big topic here.
I partially hope that I'm wrong on this. I got permission last year to hunt a farm, and I never hunted it because I was after a pretty big deer on another farm about an hour away. But this farm that I got permission to hunt, it's not a farm, it's a 30-acre piece of property. I never hunted it. The guy said I can come out anytime I want. It was 10 minutes from my house. Never went. He told me a couple different times he had seen some really big deer, but you know how that goes. Everybody's really big deer is very, very different.
Yeah.
I never talked to him much. I had a couple deer behind my house that were, I would say, 150-inch deer or so, give or take. And I was showing my neighbor these pictures, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's about the size of the one that was at my dad's I was telling you about." And I'm like, "Oh man, I've seen the deer he has mounted, and they're, nothing against him. I got deer mounted that aren't very big either, but he's never killed a very nice deer, so I just assumed it wasn't really a nice deer." So a year later, I lost permission on the farm where I shot my 170-inch buck last year.
And that was just recent?
Yes, I just found out last week. Can't hunt there anymore, so I called my neighbor, and I'm like, "Hey, would your dad still let me hunt?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll call him, but yeah, it shouldn't be a problem." So I'm planning on going this weekend to put cameras out. Well, yesterday, I had a guy come out and take some bees off my property. I had a huge 55-gallon barrel, ended up being completely full of honeybees. That guy thinks there's 10 to 20,000 bees in this barrel.
That's actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it was
terrifying.
It was. I put the suit on and everything and helped him.
I was wondering how you got that close with the video.
Yeah, the barrel was so heavy.
Like,
I only got stung once right on the knee.
I just thought you had brass nuts, and I was like, "This man's brave."
It's actually pretty crazy because all they wear is that head net, and then they wear gloves, and that's it.
Really?
Yeah. I taped up my pant legs because I didn't want him to go up my pant leg. That guy had like 4 go up his pant leg and sting him. But all they try to do is attack your face. He said they can smell the carbon dioxide or whatever coming from your mouth whenever you breathe.
Huh.
Really? We breathe. I'm not a scientist, but whatever we put out when we breathe, they can smell it. And so they go right for your face. And they really did. It was actually kind of scary. I'm glad I had that net on. But
yeah,
they were just
terrifying.
Yeah, they really didn't mess with you a whole lot. Anyways, so this guy's getting these bees out. I start talking to him. Turns out he's a really big hunter. Tells me he hunts not far down the road in the same town where I had permission last year, never hunted, and then just got permission again last week at this place. Just the same town, and it's a big town, so his place could be 20 miles away from me. I have no idea. So today I'm on Onyx when I'm at work, and I'm checking out this 30-acre piece because I'm gonna go hunt it. I'm gonna go put cameras out this weekend. I'm trying to look at where I want to put cameras, and coincidentally, the neighboring property is the same last name as this guy that got bees, and it's the same exact acreage that he said his parents' farm was where he hunts. And he was showing me pictures of a very big deer, over 200 inches.
And that is known to have survived last season. They've seen it in velvet again this year. It's didn't get any bigger, but it's still over 200 inches. If it's not over 200, it's over up to it.
Yeah. It's over 200 inches. I mean, I've seen it. They had the sheds from last year. Giant deer. So now I'm in this moral dilemma of, man, if this farm that I have permission to hunt this year is right next to this guy's parents' farm where this 200-inch deer is, I'm gonna look like
You
biggest asshole on the face of the earth.
you went into and found this deer.
This guy's going to think that, oh man, he got on Onyx and found my parents' property and asked the neighbor to hunt.
Yeah.
And that is not what happened. It's just a coincidence. And I'm just speculating. I'm just going off the last name. This guy said it was in X amount of acres. And I know his last name, and his parents is going to be the same. And it's...
If it looks like a duck and sounds like a duck.
And...
Sorry.
So we were. I was telling these guys about this, and they were like, "Let's just go down and talk about it." So I think I'm gonna call the guy.
That's what I like that. Call him, be like, hey, I know it's a super small world, but I actually have permission.
I have permission on this
property
road.
X, and I'm pretty sure it's in between.
So before you tell me where you're hunting, I have permission on this farm, and I just want to let you know that I had permission last year. I never hunted it. I'm going to hunt it this year. I didn't look up your parents' address on Facebook or Onyx or something, and I don't know. I hope that I'm just overthinking it, and his parents live 45 miles away from there, because if it is that place and I do start to hunt it, which I'm going to.
But you're not hunting it just because of the deer.
No, I know.
You're hunting it because
I'm hunting it because I lost another property, and it's 10 minutes from my house.
Yeah,
I have no idea the kind of deer that are there. This guy's never said there's a giant deer there. He just told me there were some nice deer, and whenever I had showed him a couple pictures on my trail camera from like 150-inch deer, he's like, "Oh yeah, that's about the size of the one at my house." That was it. He never said anything about this, giant deer.
I think guys who know what they're doing don't.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm in a bit of a moral dilemma, I guess.
All right.
But I think just out of my conscience, I'm gonna call this guy and say, hey, just to let you know, I got permission to hunt this farm, and I was just looking on Onyx, and the neighbor is the same last name as you, and it's the same size acreage that you told me you hunt, and I just want to let you know I didn't intentionally do this. I've had permission to hunt there for the past year. I just never hunted there.
So let's say I'm the guy. You call me and you say that, and I say, cool. If you see him, don't shoot him.
No, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
What would you guys do in that situation?
I'd tell you that's not going to happen.
You just made an enemy, my friend.
Yeah. No,
I will take off more time than work than you.
I will quit my job.
They're great people, though. He actually showed me. I didn't tell you guys this earlier because we hopped down here. Last year, his brother shot like 125-inch 8-point. He said. 10 minutes later, this 220-inch buck walks by, and he got the best video of it, 15 yards.
Really?
And I was like, man, your brother is a good dude, because there are not a lot of people that would have been able to do that. He pulled his phone out and videoed it, and it walked right by at 15 yards, completely broadside, straight through. I mean, wide open shooting lane.
Oh my God.
And he just got this amazing video of this giant deer that, I mean, a once-in-a-lifetime deer. It's just giant.
So my opinion in that situation, the ideal scenario is you call the guy. It is the property. You are sandwiched by this deer's pattern, and you're part of it. You guys hunt the deer together and say whoever gets him gets him.
Yeah,
that's ideal.
Yeah.
Well, this kind of goes back onto one of the last podcasts we recorded. It's nobody's deer.
No, it's not.
It's nobody's deer until your tag's on it. Then it's your deer.
I stayed on.
Exactly.
I just don't want him to think that. He said, I hunt in this town, and I went in there and was like, oh, let's try to find this deer. Because there are people that will do that.
Oh, 100%.
I have buddies of mine that would do that. They would find out where that guy hunted, and they would lease every other property around him to try to kill that deer.
If it wasn't,
I know people that would do that, and I would never do that to somebody.
If it wasn't a deer of this magnitude, and this guy didn't get a little nervous right off the rip to tell you kind of the area he was hunting, would you think twice about it, or would you still kind of not put as much thought into it?
Like if it was a 150-inch deer?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be as hard.
No,
You're nice 8-point.
I'd just be like, oh, what are the odds that we hunt right beside each other, But it's a world class deer. And it's huge.
Well, big deer make people big dumb.
Yeah.
And big jealous.
Yeah.
And you can read about that at the end of every fall.
Yeah, around the country.
Yeah, last year was a great example.
Yeah.
That Ohio record that was not exactly a real record.
Yeah.
Well, I remember back when I was cleaning heads, the guy dropped off it was a nice buck, probably like 106, mid 160s, and he was like, dude, the people that messaged me on Facebook, I mean, they think I'm just the worst person in the world for shooting that deer because they were watching that deer all summer long, and he was coming in by their stand. He's like, I'm the worst guy in the world right now. I was like,
people think that they are. That and rumors will get spread so fast.
Well, you experienced that last year.
I killed my buck. The farm I killed him on, it's in like a trust, and I'm not going to say the name of it because then everybody on freaking Onyx could find it.
Yep.
But it's a big farm. It's 300 acres. Well, the neighbors have a 500-acre farm. I shot my buck on the property I'm allowed on, and a neighbor 2 houses down sends it to the landowner where I was hunting and said, hey, check out this deer killed on so-and-so's property. And it was me and my deer. It was not killed on the property he said. I killed it on that guy's property that he was texting, and he's like, it wasn't killed there. And he's like, oh, so-and-so told me that it was killed here. And I'm like, man, if this gets out, and, because, I made a pretty public post about it because I just thanked my buddy.
Big deer.
Yeah, you can get on my Facebook and see. But I thanked my buddy for letting me hunt there, and all this. And I'm like, man, if this gets out, and say somebody hunts this other property, it was just for namesake, this is not the name of the property, say the Click Farm. It gets out, somebody's sending out texts, oh, look at this deer killed on the Click Farm, and there are guys that hunt on the Click Farm, and they're like, what the heck? This guy shouldn't be hunting there.
Right.
So it's just crazy how stuff like that can get spread. A rumor.
Once a rumor starts, you're already behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And that was a 170-inch deer. Imagine a 200-inch deer.
Oh.
There's going to be so many questions.
It gets worse with every year.
Yeah. The bigger
honestly,
they are, it gets...
So, sorry.
No, you're right.
I've never been like an antler size. I've always been an age guy.